Hello, everyone, it's me again, Liam, and I'm back with Carl.
Hi.
And finally, after days of waiting, we are now getting the final version of the Transformers 2007 rewrite. Done! At last!
Yes.
After all this waiting. This is being done in favor of Transformers 1 coming out.
hmm
As you all know, the Transformers movies have garnered this sort of reputation for being this. I don't know how you put it. It's just Michael Bay sideline the Transformers in favor of the humans at times. But this
Yeah.
but this is the first movie, so I'm just gonna say I like the first film. I enjoy this one.
Me too.
But anyways, let's just get into it.
hmm
All right, let's begin. Okay, the movie would basically begin the same as it does with all spark in space. Like that will stay the same. That will stay the same because it's one of the best parts in the whole movie.
Yeah.
But like I said, the one of the big issues with the Bay films is that it was focusing too much on on the humans than the Transformers themselves.
Yeah.
We all know this is called Transformers, so.
Yeah.
Goodness me, goodness me. Goodness me.
Okay.
But let's just move on, shall we?
hmm
And we don't cut to the attack on the base, at least not yet.
Yeah.
We've got the war for Cybertron in the play.
hmm
Think of it as like the opening scene for Bumblebee, except it's just the scene with Optimus and Bumblebee.
Yeah.
Now Optimus and Bumblebee will now Peter Cullen will stay as Optimus because him as Optimus in this movie was one of the best parts.
Yeah.
As for Bumblebee, he'll be played by Dylan O'Brien. But let's just get into this. Let's just continue, shall we?
hmm
We then get the attack at the military base, but it's kind of more like the deleted scene where it was supposed to be at a jungle and not at some random location.
Yeah.
Kind of like what Phoenix Studios did. Essentially, you have Soundwave, not Blackout, played by Frank Welker, attacking the military base,
Yeah.
and by it and Soundwave is here because a lot of Transformers fans were disappointed that Soundwave wasn't in the first film.
They were.
And Blackout in the original movie literally caused EMPs, which is Soundwave's thing. So either way, he steals information, lets Ravage, replacing Scorponok, go to continue the assault on the base, and he scans a Humvee, which is kind of like his alternate mode sometimes, but still, if you know what I mean. He scans a Humvee and then they leave.
hmm
We then cut to the same scene at school with Spite Witwicky, not
Yeah.
Sam.
hmm
Because why? Give him the last name of the J1 character if we're not going to do the full reference.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for pointing this out, Brad E.W. Hickman.
Thanks a lot, Brian W. Hickman.
But anyways, we get the same scene with the show and tell, and Spike talking about his ancestor Archibald Witwicky, trying to pawn
hmm
off his stuff because he's kind of broken.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by broken? What do we mean by that? Is he poor?
No.
Yeah, we're just gonna say he's kind of broke because all we're gonna say now for the whole broke part, we're just gonna give some sort of backstory. His mother's being completely cut out because, well, this is we're trying to go in the G1 kind of route.
Hmm.
And the reason why we don't see Spike's mom is because she's dead.
Yeah.
No reasons given, but it's kind of hinted that Spike doesn't remember how his mother died, which gives us some ideas as to how she died. A car accident, a heart attack, or cancer, or even cancer.
Probably.
We'll leave it up to you in the comments down below for you to decide.
Yeah.
We then we then get the same scene where his father picks him up, but instead of Irvin Ron, it's Sparkplug. Like it's the same thing as Spike. Why give him the last name of the G1 character when we're not going to do the full reference?
Yeah.
I know Phoenix Studios had like throughout the name of Irvin Witwicky, which was his real name in in the IDW comics.
Hmm.
But then again, I hate to break it to some of you guys, but I never really grew up reading the comics growing up, so sorry.
Me neither.
Sorry about that. We did.
Yeah.
Sorry. They go to now Sparkplug owns a salvage yard, which is the polite way of saying junkyard. And because Spike's been doing so well in school, he lets him pick out a new car on his birthday, and he'll pay for it.
Yeah.
The same. We then get the same scene where Spike and his father go to the car shop. It's essentially the same.
Uh-huh.
Cars cost more than that. Well, this one doesn't. You find an old.
He finds an old yellow rusty Beetle, and he's not super happy that it's that old.
Yeah.
But then we got Uncle Bubby B, baby. And then we get the same scene from there.
Hmm.
He even says it's the only thing that he can afford. Meanwhile, we get to the secretary. We cut to the Secretary of Defense with John Voight's character to the Pentagon. They don't know who attacked the base on Jupiter, but they picked up this weird sound from there.
Yeah.
Instead of being some random nonsense, it's the Transformers sound effect.
Yeah.
That way we could give some reference to G1ers.
Yeah.
We then cut back to Spike and who doing some car maintenance and watching like his friends.
Yeah.
Spike is kind of the last kid picked out because well he had a heart because ever since his mother died it's been hard for him trying to make new friends.
Yeah.
That is sad. That way we can feel bad for him.
Uh-huh. We kind of feel bad for him.
As he's doing some car maintenance, he notices the quite impressive engine. Sparkplug noted, and ain't that something? There's more than meets the eye. We then cut to Soundwave dropping off Frenzy at the airport, and then Frenzy sneaks in, steals a bunch of information about something called a Iceman Specimen. which was discovered on September 7th, 1895. And the first on site is Captain Witwicky. And how Spike's ancestor might be connected. He only gets part of it before they find out he's there. But then Frenzy manages to sneak off without anyone dying. He then meets up with Barricade, and they send a message to the Barricade. Then sends a message to Soundwave. Soundwave manages to find a lead to the glasses, which might have the location to the Allspark on them. But instead of Spike's username being Lazeman217, like why? It's gonna be something like Dragon Slayer 04. Thanks to Blue Lightning.
Yeah.
And how it could also be possibly connected to Megatron. And then Barricade heads out to that location with Frenzy. And then we see a ship landing. It's the Nemesis. And then the door opens. When Soundwave transforms, he sees someone. It's Starscream. Still played by Charlie Adler.
Yeah.
Starscream then tells Soundwave that their main goal is to find the Allspark and Megatron is dead. And how Soundwave needs to stop wasting so much time looking for Megatron. And how Starscream's the leader of the Decepticons and demands they focus. But Soundwave says something like, no matter what we'll find, either he'll find either or they'll die trying. And then Starscream just face palms like this.
Yeah.
And then they go on the Nemesis. We then cut to the survivors of the base getting attacked by Ravage. It's the same scene, but you just cut Scorponok out with Ravage. And we can still introduce, and we still have the team. We still have the Rangers, but Ravage loses a part of his tail, and they lose, and the Rangers essentially lose Fig. He died.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that night, Spike wakes up hearing his car running, and then Spike begins to chase it into the salvage yard where he sees it transform into a giant yellow robot who sends a radio signal calling all Autobots to radio view at his point. And then we can basically have the same scene where all the Autobots came to Earth. But Optimus, Bump, Ironhide, Ratchet, and Jazz aren't the only ones. No. We have two more. These are... You'll see when we get there. But we see two new scenes where one crashes into like a motorcycle shop of sorts and scans a motorcycle, and the other goes into a car store and scans a red car.
Yeah.
We then cut back to the military. They're inspecting the part of Ravage, his tail, and they can definitely dent it up, but it's really hard to kill. We then cut back to Spike walking. He then gets comically knocked by Barricade and the police car. Spike just initially sees a random police car yelling at the driver because they don't know what's going on, just for the driver to digitally disappear and transform into another robot, and talks to Spike about the glasses. It's Barricade.
Yeah.
and then Bumblebee jumps and fights off Barricade. It's essentially the same fight scene in the movie. It could be the same. I don't care. It could stay the same.
Yeah.
Frenzy disguises himself as the phone of Spike's dead mom, as Spike has been in possession of it since his mother's death. And then he hitches a ride as they all escape. Everyone's confused. Spike's confused, and he starts screaming and scared. Bumblebee tries using the radio to speak and tell him that their name is Bumblebee. And then he asks... And then we see two of Spike's friends saying something like, well, I guess the car is... Wait, that thing can talk? And Spike's like, yes, it can talk. And then right after, Bumblebee takes a new car form of a brand new Camaro as a way not to get trapped by Barricade.
Yeah.
We then cut to two hackers, Carly and Chip. Carly can still be played by her actress from Dark of the Moon, but for Chip, I held a post on my community page for who should play him, and the majority of you voted Tobey Maguire. Dave Franco almost won, but we're just going to go with Toby since he got the most votes. They discover the same sound effect the government found. The Autobots then make their way to an alleyway after a motorcycle and a silver car come to, Chip's house. And they show up. We meet the Autobots, consisting of Optimus Prime, Jazz, Ironhide, and Ratchet will still have their same actors. Now for the design changes. Optimus doesn't have the flames. He's a naked truck. I wouldn't necessarily say naked's the accurate word, but he doesn't have flames. He just doesn't. Ironhide is red. Ratchet is red and white. Jazz is white with some blue. As for the two new Autobots here, these will be RC and Cliffjumper.
Yeah.
Played by Megan Fox and Dwayne Johnson. I decided to have Dwayne Johnson play Cliffjumper because, well, he played Cliffjumper in Transformers Prime, so I thought that would be an interesting way of referencing Transformers Prime here.
Yeah.
Everyone's all amazed and whatnot, and Optimus introduces them. We get the same scene with Optimus. We get almost the same scene. Optimus is the leader, Jazz the first lieutenant, Ironhide's the weapons expert, RC... And of course, RC is also a weapons expert. And Cliffjumper is also a lieutenant. Ratchet is the medic. Scout, Bumblebee. And Spike's real confused how Bumblebee has to use radio, but everyone else can talk normally. Which makes Bumblebee sad, and Ratchet explains this. Why did Spike ask this question? How come Bumblebee can't talk normally like the rest?
Yeah.
And what's the answer?
While Megatron tore out his voice box.
Yeah, it could be stay in the opening. Yeah, it could basically be just the opening scene from Bumblebee, but like I said about the beginning, you could just somewhat edit to where Bumblebee is just silent. And we can even see a flashback of that.
Yeah.
And of course, Bumblebee also first landed on the planet in the year 1984. Now, Megatron... And of course, Bumblebee has been on Earth since 1984, and that he had he had a crazy adventure, essentially.
Yeah.
With getting into a fight with 3 Decepticons. Spike says he's sorry for asking, but also is completely confused that, like, what Decepticons came to this planet, why. Optimus then gives exposition with some holograms, where long ago Cybertron was their home planet, but an evil force of evildoers, led by Megatron, ruined it, causing a big war, which ruined the planet.
Yeah.
And Optimus even mentions that he and Megatron were once the best of friends.
They were.
Until Megatron went bad, and of course Optimus was the one who shot out the Allspark into deep space, so Megatron couldn't get his hands on it. Unfortunately, because of this, Cybertron died without a power source, and the only new Transformers created were soulless drones without Allsparks giving them souls.
Yeah.
And Megatron would have a different motivation for wanting the Allspark. Essentially, he wants to, like, use the Allspark for one thing. Restore Cybertron.
Yes.
But for a different reason. And that is...
To promote himself as the planet's hero.
which is a reference to, you guessed it, Shattered Glass.
Yeah.
As well as the fact that he would paint the Autobots as the villains.
Yes.
Yeah, we're taking some cues for Shattered Glass right there. It's also kind of similar to War for Cybertron. The show, not the games.
Yeah.
Eventually, the Autobots had to flee the planet and had to scour the galaxy to look for the Allspark. And then the reason why Spike's ancestor is so important is because his glasses have some Cybertronian writing on them, which Bumblebee found on eBay, which they suspect might be where the location of the Allspark is. Spike's friends are kind of confused. Like, essentially, this could be Spike's one friend. It's just Spike's friend. Who would be Kicker? Who would be Spike's bully, but he's like, okay. But he's still confused about this. But either way, they haul back to the house, look for the glasses. Spike goes upstairs to look for them. And there's some awkward conversations with Spike and his dad, trying to understand the robots, like what kind of music they like. Jazz says, well, it isn't obvious, and he starts blaring to some, like, Chick Corea song, like Light as a Feather. And he starts dancing, which really annoys Ratchet and Optimus because he's making a lot of noise, which alerts the neighbors. Oh no!
Oh no.
And then we get the same, and then they have to comically hide, and it's like the same scene where I had questions, why don't we just shoot them? And Sparkplug's like, yes, shoot them! Because they're annoying. But Spike's like, no, don't shoot the neighbors. Optimus then agrees, yes, we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And they just, as Spike finds the glasses in his backpack, problem solved. The government shows up and Sector 7 arrests them. Meanwhile, Carly and Chip also get busted, as well as Kicker. We then get the same scenes where the Autobots save them and scare them to drop their guns. Jazz using some weird magnet thing he never uses in the rest of the movie. We then get the same scene with Onwards, but we're cutting out that disgusting scene where Bumblebee pees on Simmons. Ugh.
Yeah.
We're cutting that scene out. I hate that scene. That was the one scene I hated.
Me too.
And so we're just gonna add the scene where Bumblebee, like, threatens to shoot Simmons, something like that.
Yeah.
That's less disgusting. Bumblebee gets captured. Frenzy takes this as an opportunity to sneak away with the agents, and all the human characters meet up at Hoover Dam. Essentially, we're getting the same movie as a result. The Autobots debate should they rescue the humans and Bumblebee. They already have the glasses. Optimus laments shooting the Allspark into deep space, saying war to another planet. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Same scene.
Yeah.
And of course, the humans shouldn't pay for their mistakes. But then again, it's the same scene. It's the same scene. It's the same scene. The only real difference is that Cliffjumper and RC are there. That's the only real difference.
Yeah.
Everything in Sector 7 plays out the same, such as the Rangers turn on Sector 7, but and of course, Sparkplug is there. He tries to bring up a fight because he knew Lennox during the back when he used to work for the military. And they force them to everyone forces the Rangers force them to release Bumblebee, and they do. They also show them to the Allspark that's been in the Hoover Dam, and they explain that they discovered it along with Iceman, which Bumblebee recognizes as Megatron.
Yeah.
And how the Wibblekey Explorer guy discovered both of them forever ago, and he's been trying to study both of them, but he doesn't really know anything about what he was doing with it because they're so advanced. Bumblebee touches the Allspark and it shrinks down because plot. But the only real difference is that it fixes his voice. He can speak normal now.
Yeah.
Frenzy sees Megatron and sneaks off. The Autobots show up, and the plan is that they're going to move the Allspark to a more secure location called Base Metroplex, where Autobots can hide out until they find a way to send them home. And the convoy begins. Essentially, Optimus would say something like, "Let's go to the forest." Because he doesn't want any innocent people to get hurt or killed.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Frenzy sends their location on what's going on at the Hoover Dam to Soundwave, who sends out a mass message to all the Decepticons to tell them that Megatron lives and he's at the Hoover Dam. Calling to Starscream and the Nemesis, he's mad because he finds out that Megatron's alive, and he's like, "Why? We should focus on retrieving the Allspark." But then Blackout, played by David Subliv, appears, and he calls Starscream mad, and that Megatron is alive, and we get the same scene where essentially all the Decepticons meet up.
Yeah.
Frenzy awakens Megatron, gets shot by the agents, essentially the same movie from there on out. The Decepticons chant "All Hail Megatron," ignoring Starscream, and Starscream reluctantly says, "All Hail Megatron," and heads out with them. Optimus overhears to intercom that Iceman awakens, which he knows is Megatron.
Yeah.
So he turns around and heads back to the dam, putting Jazz in command. And then a bunch of different Decepticons meet up at the Hoover Dam, and they're ecstatic to see that Megatron is back.
Yeah.
Except for Starscream. Now, for Brawl and Bone Crusher, they'll be played by Sylvester Stallone and Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
And when Megatron appears, rather than being played by Hugo Weaving, because he believed Megatron was meaningless, here we get the return of the original Megatron actor here.
Frank Welker.
Yes! That guy. Who played Megatron in Transformers 4 and 5, and I question, why didn't he play Megatron earlier? We're going to solve it here.
Yeah. Well, his voice will be similar to Transformers Prime.
Of course. Starscream looks mad at Megatron, and Megatron's like, "You feel me yet again, Starscream?"
Please, Master, but in your absence, someone had to take the man.
I don't care, Starscream!
Master, please, I'm sorry. Please give me another chance. I won't fail you again.
We shall see. But then we see Blackout pointing out something.
And it's Optimus to Prime arriving. Megatron sends the rest of the Decepticons to get the cube. Megatron and Optimus then fights. And Optimus is like, it's been a long time, It's been a long time, Megatron, since the last time we've met.
Yeah, yes, it has.
I thought I would never I thought this day would never come.
I got it better work too.
I thought when you were frozen in ice, I couldn't believe you somehow ended up on Earth. I told you, Megatron, years ago, we could have built the future!
It was we could have. You could have joined.
Well, you think that's how we could have built the future? I don't think so.
Look at it.
Look, Megatron, you caused the deaths of many innocents back on our home world.
It was a necessary sacrifice.
Necessary? What do you mean by that?
Necessary.
It has to go like this. One shall stand, and one shall fall. And then we get, and that is a question you should ask yourself, Megatron. Because it's a question you should ask yourself, old friend.
Look, crush you with my.
And then we get a direct tribute to G1, where they have a Mason Axe fight at the Hoover Dam.
Yeah.
And this causes the dam to burst, and Optimus gets washed away as Megatron flies. Optimus tries to save as many innocents as possible. He does so, but not a lot of them survive, unfortunately. Optimus kind of feels guilty that he couldn't save all of them. But as One Hero's journey is, you can't save everyone.
Yeah.
At the convoy, the Autobots are trying to drive outside the town so no one notices them or gets in the way, just for the Decepticons to show up and chase them into the city. We essentially can get the same scene where Bone Crusher attacks the humans. Optimus and Bone Crusher still fight, but Optimus wouldn't kill Bone Crusher. No, he wouldn't.
No, you wouldn't do that.
Instead of killing Bone Crusher, he could just, stab him, injuring Bone Crusher. Something like that.
Uh-huh.
And Bone Crusher would remain out of commission.
Yeah.
We then and instead of going into the city of Mission City, they go to a forest.
Yeah.
It could be the same forest from Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. It could be a different forest. I don't know which forest this could be. There's a lot of destruction and explosions, and we're trying to have it be noticeable and zoomed out so we can see what's going on. Next changes will be Spike and friends. They escape with a cube and make it to the helipad. They back out, but Spike is kind of freaking out. But Bumblebee instead of Lennox, gives Spike the pep talk to go for all of this and promises that to keep his friends and family safe. And we could get the same scene where Bumblebee gives Spike the Allspark. We could get that same scene.
Yeah.
because it's one of the because in my opinion this is one of the more emotional scenes
Yeah.
and a powerful scene as well.
Uh-huh.
The Rangers are doing pretty decent defending against the Decepticons, being able to take out at least a couple of Vehicons and one normal Decepticon. Like, Blackout's death will kind of be the same, except RC would be the one who kills Blackout, because you know that scene where Lennox is riding the motorcycle? That would be RC.
Yeah.
They do some significant damage to Brawl, and of course, we can get the final fight between Bumblebee and Barricade, and basically it ends with Bumblebee killing Barricade. Yes, Barricade dies right here and there because one issue with the Bay films is Barricade's constant disappearance and reappearing and disappearing and reappearing. That was so annoying.
It was.
So we're killing him off here so we don't have to create that issue. But then Megatron shows up and Rex's hat shows up. We then get the same fight where the Autobots try to fight off Megatron, and Cliffjumper fights off Megatron, claiming that he has the cube, and Megatron rips Cliffjumper in half.
Yeah.
Essentially the same scene where he kills Jazz, but instead of Jazz, it's Cliffjumper. Jazz here will be injured. But before Megatron could kill Jazz, Optimus shows up and challenges Megatron to a rematch. By the end of this day, one shall stand and one shall fall. I will not have you take your hands on the Allspark, Megatron.
I will use it right.
What? Oh yeah, so you can make us the real villains and you're the hero?
Yeah.
But Megatron, you could have come this way. You could not have.
I shall bypass that.
It's all because of some dark presence.
Yeah. Join me. Together we can rebuild our Cybertron.
What would happen if I refused to? I will never join! No way would I ever join someone like you!
Such a pity. You could have made a fine Decepticon.
I would if I'd be joined the Decepticons, I would be going against my morals. You leave me no choice! And then they have a rematch. They go through it's essentially the same fight scene, but instead of buildings, they go through trees. As there's some fighting, there's also some chasing with Spike and friends, and the Decepticons, until they make it to a helipad, and Spike tries passing the cube to the Air Force guys. Starscream rises and blows up the helicopters. B tells the humans to hide in the wreckage and fights Starscream. He does a decent job fighting him until Megatron shows up and blows out off his legs. Megatron almost kills Bumblebee until Spike comes out with a cube and tries negotiating B's life for the cube, which impresses Megatron because he thought that the humans were just animals. Like, imagine Megatron making a smile like this. Starscream's disgusted that the human's touching the cube and tries blasting at him, which sends him flying off the building. Megatron backhands Starscream like this. Starscream, he had the cube!
You idiot. You nearly destroyed it with your own stupidity.
But Megatron, it's a human!
Fool, that human has the only object in the world, the galaxy that we need to rebuild our planet.
Oh yeah, so what are you gonna do? Chase them?
Yes.
And then, as Megatron leaves Starscream, he informs Soundwave to watch him. And Soundwave doesn't look happy. We can't tell through his emotions because he doesn't have a face, so why should we worry? Bulby, instead of Optimus, catches Spike and friends and breaks their fall. Megatron jumps down with them. And as Megatron takes the cube from Spike, he starts saying this. Yes! Finally! I've won! Now I can succeed what I've been doing for all these years! A defeated Optimus then sees this. Oh no. This can't be good. Ratchet!
You rebel. Fine.
I know what I must do.
Yes, you have to destroy it.
I initially considered sacrificing myself, but I know this isn't what Alita would have wanted. If she were here now, this isn't what she would have wanted. So long. I must destroy it. He then aims his blaster and destroys the Allspark. Megatron then sees this, like this. Huh? And then he watches the cube get destroyed. And Megatron says something like, "Curse you, Optimus! You've ruined everything! I will return!" And he transforms and flies off as the Decepticons retreat. Yes, we're keeping Megatron alive. Because what was wrong with killing him off in the first movie, you may ask?
It was too soon.
Yes, and the fact that they kept on killing off Megatron and then bringing him back just got annoying!
Yeah. It did.
Optimus is more concerned about the humans, and Spike's confused. Spike's asks why he did this, and Optimus says that sometimes you have to make grave decisions for the greater good. He's sad to find Jazz's body. It's the same, which leads into him explaining Cybertronian funeral rites, where Jazz will be buried with honor when what's left gets melted down. And to never forget him, they will plant a Cybertronian remembrance flower along with an icon of Megatron to never Cliffjumper, to never forget what they done. And during this, they also have a funeral for the Rangers who died during the film.
Yeah.
After all this, and for John Boyd, informs the Autobots that everyone kind of knows they exist, and now Optimus assures them that no matter what, he'll protect the planet from the Decepticons, even if they weren't stuck here. He's got a duty to protect all life. Keller agrees with the Autobots and gives them base Metroplex to hide out. And Sparkplug notes, "Hey, I know some friends who can help the Autobots." I like to whip out my wall. He whips out his wallet, and there's a little card with a familiar eagle symbol.
Yeah, G.I. Joe.
But they're not in the same universe. Like, we all know they're not. It's just, let's just say Sparkplug was a fan of G.I. Joe, something like that.
Yeah.
Keller smiles and shakes his hand, saying that will help, and like the two then shake Optimus his finger, and so Sector 7 is disbanded and reformed into Nest, granting the safe haven for protection from the Decepticons. And then we cut to the Nemesis, where Starscream leads Megatron into a dark room with a mysterious, sickly old bot, this time played by Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
And he demands, and here's how the scene goes. Starscream, you almost said danger to human when he had the only thing we could have had?
Apologies, Master. Apologies, Master.
And then he begins, Starscream, leave! But Starscream says, that he wants to stay second in command, but the Fallen then chokes Starscream like this. You will be around for a while, but if you fail again, you will face the consequences.
Yes. Yes, yes, Master.
And then Starscream leaves. Megatron and the Bot have a similar conversation to what they had in Revenge of the Fall to what they had in the second movie. Where it's known that the Autobot's the real one pulling the strings for the Decepticons. And notes that and then he tells Megatron this. And my apprentice, the Allspark can be remade.
Apologies, Master. Unfortunately, I have destroyed it.
Liar! It can be remade. You just don't know it.
But how can it be remade, Master?
It can be remade with the Matrix.
The matrix of leadership.
Yes. All you need to do is kill Optimus, take the Matrix, and recreate the Allspark. Which is the Matrix is and Optimus has the Matrix.
I understand.
Lana, the Primes, who I used to call my brothers, betrayed me. They were the ones who created the Matrix. I killed the 13th Prime. But little do I know, he could be reborn. And this... Go on.
And he was reborn in the...
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay.
And this sets up Revenge of the Fallen. Meanwhile, we cut... Everyone's having a good time. And Spike and Carly meet each other, and they start to... We don't really see much of the relationship here, but the relationship will be expanded on in future movies.
Yeah.
Essentially, Kicker gets informed to, like, his Autobot partner, Ironhide, Chip. He doesn't know yet, but Carly chooses RC. RC then begins to explain a bit of her backstory to Carly, like, that she was once a part of a team of female Autobots. We'll see 2 of them in the next one.
Yeah.
And I think you know who those are. Spike then asks his dad how he once worked for the military, but Sparkplug says, back in the 80s, I helped repair tanks for the military and some other repairs, but mostly tanks. Well, it wasn't really the military, but I'll tell you when you're older. And then the film ends exactly the way it does, with Optimus sending out a message saying that the cube's gone, but he's summoning all Autobots to come to Earth. And the credits play. Over, you guessed it, what I've done, I'll face myself. Love that song.
Me too.
And that's it for our Rewrite Transformers 2007. Stay tuned for maybe this Sunday or Monday for Revenge of the Fallen. Anyways, bye.